Welcome to PWCI this week. I'm the Mad Conservative Crime Fighter, and I'm here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Baird Center, checking out matches from Brew City Wrestling, hosted by the Midwest Gaming Classic. Say what? What's this program doing back?
For a triple threat match, and it is for the Brew City Wrestling Heritage Championship. DJ Ross, take it away.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. This program is not really coming back, but it's April Fool's Day. And 3 years ago, this program abruptly ended, and I did not end this on my terms. So, 3 years later, and I'll tell more as the program rolls on, as Johnny Cass, who is the Midwest Gaming Classic heavyweight champion, a gamer turned pro wrestler, actually made his debut, and I showcased his first appearance with that belt back in 2019. 2018 or 2019, one or the other. I had Johnny Cass on my new venture, the Crimey-Cade, and the Crimey-Cade podcast is basically what I ended up doing instead of Pro Wrestling Central Illinois this week, and also retired the St. Louis Wrestling Community, which, oddly enough, no one has filled the void left behind when I departed. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, regardless, Crimey-Cade podcast interviews gamers. Yeah, there's going to be some crossover. A little bit of crossover, as a lot of wrestlers are in the gaming scene too. And here comes the second man in this match, Chucky Bates. And, oh my goodness. Well, he's a bit of a mess, isn't he? Kind of inspired by a couple of different horror flicks. But Crimey-Cade podcast rolls most Thursdays, same day that this show aired on public access television. And the world has changed in the last 3 years. And here comes the third man in the match, Ethan Matthews, who is defending the Brew City Wrestling Hertiage Championship. Against these other two men, the Midwest Gaming Classic title is not on the line in this particular match. But Johnny Cass would like to take that belt off of him and carry another belt with him throughout the weekend of this gaming convention, which is going to be happening in a few weeks. And I have a streak of 20 Midwest Gaming Classics going, and this will be my 21st this year, as the 25th anniversary has been reached.
Once again, folks, this following triple threat match is for the Brew City Wrestling Heritage Championship. Introducing first, from Angel Grove, California, weighing in at 205 pounds, this is Johnny Cass.
Nobody asked you, shut up!
Next, from the Insane Asylum, weighing in at 236 pounds, this is demented Chucky Baird.
Nothing you say or do matters. Your existence is a lie.
And their opponent from the Bay Area, weighing in at 217 pounds, he is the Brew City
So why did this program abruptly end 3 years ago? Well, I expressed an opinion that some people didn't like. There's individuals running around under our previous administration that claimed, well, things are new normal now and tradition no longer exists. Everything got reordered. Well, elections happened, and not just elections, but things, dominoes started to fall. The house of cards they built as the bell rings, we are underway. There's a lot of astroturfing. A bunch of people running around because they had social media and they could do whatever they say, whatever they want because they had control of it. Oh, Chucky Bates throws Johnny Cass over the top rope. Out of the ring, and the champ and Chucky lock up. Side headlock, brace lock by Chucky Bates. As Ethan Matthews slips out and grabs the headlock. Seems like it all started with the boycott of the King of Beers. And over who they decided to associate with. Then some lawsuits got filed where people were for not addressing somebody the correct way. And then they ended up having to pay 6 digits in damages and having to rehire the people they let go. Then laws got passed. And Supreme Court made some rulings, and now the Olympics has made and is no longer going to permit the grift to appease the narcissists, the people who live their day-to-day lives where they see validation, likes, and retweets as more valuable than gold, more valuable than diamonds, where identity is the only thing that defines them, nothing else, and they're so obsessed with it, and how dare anybody challenge them. And now, as 2 count by Ethan Matthews, 3 years later, the grift, it all turned out to be a fad. People are turning away from the woke, the DEI, the identity politics movements. They're turning away. Fewer people are identifying as something other than what they were born as. And they don't have the influence like they used to. And the losses continue to mount. And now, Supreme Court is about to hand the woke movement another big loss, as the ACLU pretty much admitted they don't really believe what they're selling, as they could not define what sex is for a judge to determine equal protection under the law. So, and a rake by Johnny Cass. And another rake shoves him in the middle rope. So, what was the point of all this? What was the point of all the drama that I had to endure the last 3 years? What was the point of all that? If all that just fizzled away, it was just like a passing fad. Chucky Bates and Johnny Cass slugging it out in the middle of the ring. And a headbutt. Yeah, what was the point? If all that just faded away and yeah, and it doesn't look like, I think what ended up happening was people overplayed their hands, and there's a whole slew. A bunch of adults who know better decided, well, we're going to show empathy. It ended up being toxic, and it ended up helping nobody in the end, and caused more problems than it helped. But Milwaukee is losing so much, and they're not really, it's not going to go back. It's hard to tell you. And the activists are very salty over that. As Ethan Matthews crashes in each corner, Giant Cass splashes Chucky Bates, and Bates stumbles and drops a headbutt to the nether regions. Yeah, I don't want to call it a start button for Johnny Cass. But Ethan Matthews winding up. Oh, full Nelson into a Russian leg sweep and gets the pinfall. And that is it. Ethan Matthews retains the Brew City Wrestling Heritage Championship.
Marvelous Ethan Matthews.
So Ethan Matthews retains the Brew City Wrestling Heritage Championship as Giant Cass fails to capture his second belt here at the Midwest Gaming Classic inside Baird Center. And wrestling will be at the Midwest Gaming Classic last weekend of April, although it will be ACW Wisconsin stepping in this year. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll have more matches after this.
Are you a fair or festival organizer? If you're thinking of adding pro wrestling to your event, it takes more than just a $5,000 ring. It takes credible talent with years of training, skill, and experience. It takes quality production values. It takes credible promoters with knowledge of the independent scene, the resources to set up entertaining cards, and how to get fans in the door. Bring in just anyone without vetting their credentials, you could wind up with an embarrassing disaster. The so-called talent may have no training, no ring gear, aren't family friendly, and some may even have a lengthy rap sheet. If you want live professional wrestling at your fair festival, don't get burned. Check their credentials before you book. A public service announcement from the St. Louis wrestling community. Visit our website, stlwrestling.livejournal.com.
I will say this. I will leave the wrestling business on my terms, and my terms alone. It will be on no one else's terms but mine.
All right, folks.
Period.
I want to give a couple special shout-outs to, first of all,
Accountability will come to those who, the bullies and the narcissists who exploited the situation for their own personal benefit. Because every single one of those guys who came after me had an ulterior motive. They had their exterior motive, but they all had ulterior motives for what they did. Karma will come for them eventually. For those who kowtow to these people, word of warning, be careful of the monsters you create. Because once you have a hold of one, you can never, ever let go of it. Because once you do, it will eat you alive. And there will be nobody coming to your aid. Which is why so many of them are terrified of the monsters they're trying to control to gain something with it. In the meantime, Crankcade Podcast, I'm trying to infest the gaming world with woke politics, and so far, the woke industry is failing miserably as gamers have pretty much rejected just about everything they tried to feed us with. And that will continue. If they have to lose trillions of dollars in the process for them to get that lesson, I mean, yeah, they're going to learn. And they're going to be busy putting fries in the bag as their primary career as they destroyed their more lucrative gaming careers, creating games. They won't be hired. They'll be having to do things on the independent, do things on their own without a paycheck coming, except for whatever the fast food industry is paying them. All right, Johnny Cass will be defending the Midwest Gaming Classic Championship against, well, this bizarre individual. Calls himself Loser. An unfortunate. That's kind of a name that I don't know if I want to be called, as he stumbles through the ropes and Johnny Cass just mocking him.
Scheduled for one fall is for the Midwest Gaming Classic Championship. Introducing first the challenger, hailing from the Midwest Gaming Classic, weighing in at 222 pounds. He is and his opponent from Angel Grove, California, weighing in at 205 pounds. He is the Midwest Gaming Classic champion, Johnny Cass.
All right, Johnny Cass. He will be at Midwest Gaming Classic with his championship belt. Yeah, I'd like to have a reign with that belt. I like collecting gaming championships. Well, he's defending it here against Loser here at the Baird Center. And this is in the Fender Hall. I didn't watch much of the wrestling stuff last year because my focus was on retro game competitions for prizes, and I've harvested everything. I've pretty much harvested everything that there is to harvest from the wrestling scene. There's a lot to harvest in the gaming scene, and that's where I'm trying. I want to fully transition out, but I will need to give my thanks to one Leone Mephisto, a pro wrestling epic. He is the one who talked me away from the ledge, because 3 years ago I was an absolute mess, a hot mess, depressed, saddened, tormented. The ridiculous drama. If it wasn't for Mephisto, who knows where I'd be right now. But I've ever recovered. It was Mephisto that got me comfortable around the wrestling scene again and rehabbed me. So I left PWA for a year and served as camera crew for Pro Wrestling Epic, which there's some tragic news on that front, that one of my colleagues at Pro Wrestling Epic, Stephen Meade, unexpectedly passed away a week ago. Cardiac arrest, and it was very unexpected. As I will be behind the camera at Pro Wrestling Epic in Edmonton on April 18th and probably May the 1st at the Mill in Granite City. As Loser, Johnny Cass grabs the armbar and trying to get Loser to tap. Loser trying to turn over. And Giant Cass fighting his way out of it. Kick to the gut. Another kick. And spin kick to the head by Johnny Cass. Giant Cass is available for bookings. Kind of underutilized in the Midwest, which is kind of strange in my opinion. A few people in the Iowa wrestling scene didn't like some things that Giant Cass had to say and decided to try to blackball him up there, but Giant Cass is now soon to be opening Dub City Wrestling in Dubuque, and will be having his first show in July. Yeah, the cancel culture can suck it as far as I'm concerned. They need to, they have wielded way too much power. And if they had their way, they would have the British law where they throw people in jail for causing somebody else butthurt or insulting someone. They very much want that here. They do not believe in freedom of speech whatsoever. They are definitely fascists. As loser. Swing a mess. Giant Cass, big kick to the... Gosh, the kidneys of loser. And Cass measuring his opponent and drops the leg. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, and a 2 count. I also have to give best wishes to one Dallas Edwards, who had a scary incident at Ohio Valley Wrestling a couple of weeks ago. Suffered severe concussion and brain bleed, taking bumps in the ring, and I just wondered if he had epilepsy, because somebody invoked that term as Giant Cass pounds away at one loser. The Crimicade is on twitch.tv/rap_sheet, or you can type bit.ly/Crimicade to watch my new pod interview show with other gamers. And I've had some real bangers on the program so far. Chucky, John Parrish, the original Jax from Mortal Kombat, as Richie Knuckles. You think is a pro wrestler, but isn't. There's a bulldog from Loser. 1, 2 to count. He cannot believe it. So I've had a number of pretty decent guests on my podcast. I didn't expect to get, but I did. And who's there going to go up? So yeah, that's my pride and joy now. The Crimicade, and this likely to be the last episode on this April Fool's Day. Yeah, I have no intention of bringing this back. Loser misses the splash. It's Giant Cass. Yeah, I got Mortal Kombat on my mind now. Cass, Irish whip to the corner. Cass measures him, charges in. Loser hops up. Sunset flip, 3 count, and we have a new Midwest Gaming Classic Heavyweight Champion. And Johnny Cass in disbelief, as Loser's gonna have to change his name to Loser Win. Loser Win. Winner by pinfall in 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Of course, this is the Saturday. There's more Midwest Gaming Classic to go, so he will have to put up the belt the weekend and grant a rematch. But in the meantime, well, I want to thank all those wrestling fans here in downstate Illinois and Missouri who supported my program over the years. Yes, I'm ending this show on my terms to an extent. Not perfect. Despite the narcissists and the bullies who shove their political views down your throat because they think they're, well, they are elitists. But they don't have power because their enablers aren't in charge anymore. Anyway, be sure to join me on the Krabby Cave podcast and join me on my gaming exploits as I pursue more championships in the gaming world, as I am a Grand Slam champion at the Galvin Ghost Arcade and the 1991 Nintendo Cabbage Challenge National Champion. So, as loser celebrates with the Midwest Gaming Classic Championship, we conclude PWCI this week. Well, not in Central Illinois. We're actually in Wisconsin. But also a fond farewell, a sad farewell to one Stephen Mead who passed away last week. And we'll see you at the Hertiage, or maybe see you at Pro Wrestling Epic in the near future. But good night and farewell.